Hi everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to practice English speaking together using the shadowing technique. Shadowing is one of the most effective ways to improve your English speaking skills. By listening and repeating at the same time, you can develop more natural pronunciation, better rhythm, and greater speaking confidence. With regular practice, shadowing can also help you improve your listening skills and speak more fluently in everyday conversations.
Before we begin, let's quickly talk about shadowing. Shadowing is a powerful language learning technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what you hear immediately at the same time as the speaker without pausing the audio. Don't worry if you miss some words or can't keep up perfectly at first. That's completely normal. The goal is to copy the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, intonation, and connected speech as closely as possible. Try to speak continuously, keep your voice active, and focus on following the flow of English rather than understanding every single word. Now, put on your headphones if you have them, and let's get started. How I built a healthy lifestyle. A few years ago, my lifestyle was very different from what it is today. I wasn't seriously unhealthy, but I wasn't taking good care of myself either. I often stayed up late. I spent too much time sitting. I didn't exercise regularly. Sometimes I skipped meals, and other times I ate too much fast food. Most importantly, I didn't pay much attention to my daily habits. At first, I didn't think it was a problem. After all, many people around me lived in a similar way. I told myself that I was fine. I told myself that I would make healthier choices later. Next week, next month, next year. But as time passed, I started noticing small changes. I felt tired more often. I had less energy during the day. It became harder to concentrate on my work. Sometimes I woke up feeling exhausted, even after a full night's sleep. I wasn't happy with how I felt. One afternoon, I was sitting at my desk trying to finish an important task, but I couldn't focus. I checked my phone, I looked at social media, I opened websites that had nothing to do with my work. An hour passed, then another hour. At the end of the day, I had accomplished very little. That evening, I felt frustrated. I realized that something needed to change. The truth was simple. I wanted to feel healthier. I wanted more energy. I wanted better focus. I wanted to feel proud of the way I was living. So I made a decision. I decided to build a healthier lifestyle. The problem was that I didn't know where to start. Like many people, I thought I needed to change everything immediately. I created a huge list of goals. Wake up early. Exercise every day. Eat perfectly. Drink more water. Read books. Sleep 8 hours every night. Stop wasting time online. Meditate every morning. The list seemed endless. Looking at it now, I can see the mistake I made. I was trying to change my entire life in a single day. But at the time, I felt motivated. I was excited. I thought this was the beginning of a brand new version of myself. The next morning, I woke up early. I exercised. I prepared a healthy breakfast. I drank plenty of water. I felt amazing. The second day was also successful. The third day wasn't bad either. Then things became more difficult. By the end of the first week, I felt exhausted. Following so many new habits at once required a lot of energy. Some mornings, I didn't want to wake up early. Some evenings, I didn't want to exercise. Sometimes, I simply wanted to relax. Little by little, I started skipping habits. One missed workout became 2. One unhealthy meal became several. Soon,
my perfect plan completely disappeared. I was disappointed. I felt like I had failed. For a few days, I considered giving up. Maybe I wasn't disciplined enough. Maybe healthy living wasn't for me. But then, I came across an interesting idea. The idea was simple. Don't focus on changing everything. Focus on changing one small thing. At first, this seemed too easy. How could one small habit make a difference? But I decided to try it. My first goal was drinking more water. That was it. Nothing else. I bought a reusable water bottle and placed it on my desk. Every time I saw it, I took a few sips. That small habit was surprisingly easy to maintain. After a few weeks, drinking water became automatic. I didn't have to think about it anymore. Then I added another habit: walking. Not running. Not intense exercise. Just walking. Every evening after dinner, I went for a short walk around my neighborhood. Sometimes I walked for 10 minutes, sometimes 20. The important thing was consistency. I wanted the habit to feel easy. At first, I didn't notice dramatic results. I wasn't suddenly healthier. I wasn't suddenly full of energy. But I felt slightly better. And that was enough. A few months later, something interesting happened. I started looking forward to my walks. They became one of the most relaxing parts of my day. Walking gave me time to think. It gave me time away from screens. Sometimes I listened to music. Sometimes I listened to podcasts. Sometimes I simply enjoyed the fresh air. That simple habit improved my mood more than I expected. After successfully building those habits, I felt ready for another change. This time, I focused on sleep. For years, I had treated sleep as something optional. If I wanted to watch another episode of a show, I stayed awake. If I wanted to spend more time online, I stayed awake. I rarely followed a consistent schedule. As a result, I often felt tired. I decided to create a bedtime routine. Every night, I turned off bright screens about an hour before bed. I read a few pages of a book. I prepared for the next day. Then I went to sleep at roughly the same time. The first few nights felt strange, but after a couple of weeks, my body adjusted. Soon, I was falling asleep faster. I was waking up feeling more refreshed. And perhaps most importantly, I had more energy throughout the day. That extra energy made it easier to maintain my other healthy habits. Everything started working together. The more I slept, the more energy I had. The more energy I had, the easier it became to stay active. The more active I became, the better I felt. For the first time, healthy living didn't feel like a struggle. It felt natural. And that was when I realized something important. A healthy lifestyle isn't built through perfection. It's built through consistency. You don't need perfect days. You just need enough good days. That lesson changed the way I viewed self-improvement forever. Of course, building a healthy lifestyle was not always easy. Even after I created some good habits, I still experienced setbacks. There were days when I skipped my evening walk. There were weekends when I stayed up too late. There were times when I ate more unhealthy food than I planned. In the past, those moments would have completely discouraged me. If I made one mistake, I often felt like I had ruined everything. For example, if I missed one workout, I would think, well, this week is already ruined. Then I might skip the next workout too, and the one after that. A single mistake often turned into several mistakes. But this time, I tried a different approach.
Instead of focusing on perfection, I focused on getting back on track. If I missed a walk today, I could walk tomorrow. If I ate an unhealthy meal, I could make a healthier choice at my next meal.
One mistake did not erase all my progress. That idea sounds simple, but it changed everything. For the first time, I stopped treating setbacks as failures. Instead, I treated them as a normal part of the process. And the truth is, everyone experiences setbacks. Nobody follows a perfect routine every day of the year. Everyone gets busy. Everyone feels tired. Everyone loses motivation sometimes. The difference is that successful people don't quit when those things happen. They simply begin again. Learning this lesson made me much more confident. At first, I thought confidence came before action. I believed that confident people naturally found it easy to exercise, eat well, and maintain healthy habits. But I eventually realized I had it backwards. Confidence comes from action. Every time I kept a promise to myself, my confidence grew a little. Every time I completed a walk I didn't feel like taking, my confidence grew. Every time I chose a healthy meal instead of an unhealthy one, my confidence grew. Every time I went to bed on time, my confidence grew. The changes were small. Sometimes they were almost impossible to notice. But week after week, month after month, they added up. I started trusting myself more. I no longer saw myself as someone who always gave up. I started seeing myself as someone who could stick with things. That change in identity was powerful. One day, I noticed something interesting. A friend asked me how I managed to stay consistent with my habits. The question surprised me. For years, I had admired people with healthy lifestyles. Now someone was asking me for advice. At first, I didn't know what to say. Then I realized the answer was simple. I wasn't doing anything extraordinary. I wasn't relying on motivation. I wasn't following a complicated system. I was simply repeating small habits over and over again. That conversation made me appreciate how far I had come. The changes had happened so gradually that I hadn't fully noticed them. But when I compared my current lifestyle to my old lifestyle, the difference was clear. I had more energy. I slept better. I felt stronger. I felt more focused. I felt more in control of my daily life. And perhaps the biggest change was my relationship with health itself. Before, I viewed healthy habits as chores. They felt like things I had to do. Now, I viewed them differently. They felt like acts of self-care. They were ways of taking care of my future self. That shift in mindset made healthy living much more enjoyable. As the months passed, I continued making small improvements. I learned more about nutrition. I started preparing simple meals at home more often. I ate more fruits and vegetables. I paid attention to how different foods made me feel. I wasn't trying to be perfect. I wasn't trying to follow strict rules. I simply wanted to make better choices more often. Some days were better than others, and that was okay. Balance became more important than perfection. In fact, one of the biggest lessons I learned was that a healthy lifestyle should be sustainable. If a habit feels impossible to maintain, it probably won't last. I learned to ask myself a simple question. Can I still do this a year from now? If the answer was no, I looked for a simpler approach. That mindset helped me avoid extreme solutions. I stopped chasing quick results. I stopped looking for shortcuts. Instead, I focused on habits I could maintain for the long term, and those habits eventually produced long-term results. One morning, I woke up and realized I felt genuinely good. Not because something exciting had happened, not because I was on vacation, not because I had achieved a major goal. I simply felt healthy. I felt rested. I felt energized. And that feeling was the result of hundreds of small decisions. No single habit changed my life overnight. No single day transformed me. The transformation happened slowly. So slowly that I barely noticed it while it was happening. But looking back, I could see the difference clearly. I often think about the version of myself from a few years ago. The person who felt tired all the time. The person who struggled to focus. The person who wanted to change but didn't know where to begin. If I could talk to that person today, I would give some simple advice. Start small. Be patient. Don't expect instant results. Don't try to change everything at once. Choose one habit. Make it easy. Stay consistent. Then build from there. I think many people avoid healthy habits because they believe they need to transform their entire lives immediately. That belief creates pressure, and pressure often leads to failure. The reality is much simpler. Small actions matter. Small improvements matter. Small habits matter. When repeated consistently, they can create remarkable results. Today, I still have goals. I still have habits I want to improve. I am not perfect, and I never will be. Sometimes I still stay up too late. Sometimes I skip a workout. Sometimes I make unhealthy choices. The difference is that I no longer see those moments as disasters. They are simply part of being human. I know that one bad day won't ruin months of progress. I know that I can always begin again tomorrow. That knowledge gives me peace of mind. It allows me to enjoy the process, rather than constantly worrying about perfection. Building a healthy lifestyle taught me lessons that go far beyond health. It taught me patience. It taught me consistency. It taught me self-discipline. It taught me the value of small improvements. Most importantly, it taught me that meaningful change takes time. We often want immediate results. We want to see progress right away. But many of the best things in life grow slowly. Confidence grows slowly. Strength grows slowly. Knowledge grows slowly. Healthy habits grow slowly. The process may be gradual, but that doesn't mean it isn't working. Sometimes progress is happening even when we can't see it. That's why it's important to keep going, to trust the process, to believe that today's small actions will create tomorrow's results. Looking back, I am grateful that I decided to make a change. Not because I became perfect, not because I achieved every goal, but because I proved something important to myself. I proved that change is possible. I proved that small steps can lead to big results. And I proved that building a healthy lifestyle is not about becoming a different person. It's about becoming a better version of the person you already are. And that's a lesson I will carry with me for the rest of my life.